Welcome to Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando, the podcast for women in business on a mission, sharing ideas to support you to grow, lead, and thrive. Now, here's your host, Caterina Rando.
Bing, bing, bing. Welcome back to another episode of the Expand Your Fempire podcast. I'm your host, Caterina Rando, and I have another very special episode for you today. This episode is part 2 of our Bliss in Your Business Summit episode. In episode 1, I shared with you highlights of 4 of our amazing speakers for that day. See, every year we have a Bliss in Your Business Summit with different speakers, lots of networking, lots of connecting to support women to bliss and thrive and be uplifted more in their business. Well, this time I've got another 4 amazing speakers for you. Now, we're taking 5-minute highlights from their phenomenal talks for you to enjoy so that you get some super tips, hopefully some uplift, and also you meet them because you may want to connect with them to support you in your business. You can find full bios and contact information about all these women in our show notes, and you're absolutely going to want to connect with them. Today, first, we have Shea Chisenga, who is a phenomenal transformational speaker and business coach and mentor to women. She helps them with speaking and leading and profit for purpose. And she is going to share how to unleash your influence by embracing the mic for more bliss. And then we have Andrea Wolf, who I've known for 20 plus years. I've known all these gals a long time. They're phenomenal. She's the founder of Ignited Women of Impact, and she's going to talk to you about how to ignite your dream life in your business, because your business is supposed to be your bliss. And if it's not, then you want to listen to this episode and the last one to begin to bliss more. Elizabeth Stitt is a phenomenal coach on relationships, boundaries, great for communication. And she's going to be presenting on Boost Your Bliss with Better Boundaries. This is a really hot topic for a lot of women. And then we're going to hear from Tracy Root, who is the founder of the Gather community. She is a bold action coach, and she's going to be talking to you about how to unleash your bold brilliance for more bliss. Pay attention. We're only taking 5-minute snippets from their talks for you to get the real nugget and inspiration to support you to bliss and thrive more. Okay, and we'll have a quick chat on the other side after you listen to these 4 amazing speakers that were with us at our Bliss in Your Business Summit. Grab your pencil, grab your notebook. Okay, our next amazing speaker is the fabulous Shea Chisenga. Now, my friends, Shea is a Christian woman CEO. She is a transformational speaker. She is a business coach and mentor, empowering women to speak, lead, profit, have impact, and be on purpose. She's the founder of It's Time to Rise Institute. And by the way, she also has her own center in Sacramento. She works with women leaders. She's been doing her thing for over 10 years. She has worked with over 150 women to launch their profitable business. She's written 4 inspiring books. I could go on all day with her many, many attributes and accolades. Shea, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Caterina. This has been absolutely awesome. Owning courageous, bold dreams and your personal journey and leadership in this entrepreneur journey. How many of you really know that being an entrepreneur, it is amazing, but it could be really a scary place to be. And so to give you a little story about me, I was 41 years old. I've shared this story many times, and I was defeated. I was living in a space of feeling like a failure, feeling not successful. So imagine a 41-year-old thinking that, what is my future going to look like? I was working at a job. I was making $13 an hour as a bank teller. Now, this is after my first attempt of failing my business, at least in my mindset. That's what I thought. This was my first attempt being in business. It was a complete failure. And here I am ending back up at a job making $13 an hour. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking like, what am I going to do? I really didn't know how to move forward until something happened. They were giving raises to everyone at the time, and they called me in. And I was fairly new at the job. And what they told me was, and if you can imagine, if anyone ever been in a bank and they have these conference rooms, and so they pull me in the conference room, and I'm going to go in a chair. I'm only African American there, so my mind is like, oh my God, if they get ready to fire me, like this is not the time to be doing this. But anyway, they pull me in the office and they says to me, everyone's getting a raise, and what we're going to do, we're going to give you one too. And I'm like, oh, okay. She said, we're going to give you 3 cents. Yeah, 3 pennies. 1, 2, 3. 3 pennies. And I chuckled when they shared that with me. And when they shared it, and I chuckled, they were serious. They were serious. And at that moment, I realized that's how they valued me. But then I walked away, and these 3 things I told myself. I said, number 1, I am educated. Number 2, I'm brilliant. And number 3, I know that I can make way more money doing what I feel my passion and calling is than to sit at this bank teller making $13.03 an hour. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that I needed to do, and I believe that will help you do this even in your entrepreneurship journey right now, whether you've been in business 1 year or 100 years. This is, I believe, will help us in our belief and our mindset about ourselves. And number 1 is that you need to embrace your vision fearlessly. The vision that you have for yourself, you want to embrace it fearlessly. You want to boldly envision your goals and your dreams without being limited or doubts or fear. So let me pause here for a minute. Typically what happens is that we are inundated by comparing ourselves to what others have done, what they are doing. We are making decisions based on our trauma experiences, the things that happen in our lives. And so we do not embrace ourselves the way we are designed. We don't embrace ourselves the way that we've been created. We envision ourselves based on what we have failed at. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to happen, or what have you. But I'm here to encourage you to embrace your original, who you are, who you've been created to be fearlessly. I want you to visualize your success and let that vision be your guide. If the vision, what you're seeing doesn't align with your heart, then you don't want that to be a part of your vision. The vision is what you see for yourself. So if you see for yourself to be successful, you're thriving, you're profitable, you're serving people, you are building homes, you are helping the homeless, you are building schools, you're traveling across the world, changing the world with what you've been chosen and called to do, that's the vision you embrace. Not the vision of what didn't work, not the vision that he hurt me or somebody did this to me. You embrace the vision of what you see and what you see in your heart. The next part of embracing that vision is owning your confidence. The other day, I was sharing with a group of entrepreneurs how to do your 30-second elevator pitch or what have you. And I shared this. You can get up and not know anything What you talking about? But if you owning your confidence, nobody knows it but you. So if you walk in confidence, it will attract people who wants to know more about what you do. And so owning that confidence and not being, again, basing it on what didn't work, what didn't happen, what my failures were, because they do not determine your future. They do not determine where you're going. And yes, this is a part of business. This is a part of the mindset, the belief in order for you to be successful. And yes, in business, it doesn't always go right. Yes, there would be things that did not work. Yes, there would be things that you have setbacks, but it doesn't determine where you're going. So you have to embrace the vision confidently in how you see yourself. And I'm unapologetic and unafraid of sharing my story. But what was not nurtured in our community was women being bold and courageous. And this is something that I had to overcome on a consistent basis. I would typically, if you probably can hear, I have a very strong tone in my voice. And so I would hide it. I wouldn't show that part of me because I didn't want people to feel intimidated or afraid of me. And so I would hide that portion of me. So I know very well that in business, if I did not embrace this part of me, which is a gift, which is a part of my character, if I didn't embrace this, I wouldn't be able to still be in business this long of doing what I'm doing. And so I had to learn not to embrace the past or embrace how I grew up. I knew there was more to me. And so I embraced the truth of what I've been called to do. Second thing is, I got to hurry up, is to cultivate resilience and adaptability. Listen, we are in the business. Things are changing literally every day. We've heard about social media. 1 minute they telling us to do 1 minute reels. The next minute they saying doing 30-second reels. Then the next minute saying you need to do this. So it's so much. But here's the deal. If you embrace it with an open attitude of, okay, this is the path I'm on, things will change, and I'm going to adapt to it. I'm going to do what works for me. Now, if it doesn't work, I'm not doing it. But if it does work, I'm going to embrace it. And so entrepreneurship is, as I shared before, there's many ups and downs. There's many setbacks that you go through. And so you have to learn to be adaptable to what works. And then number 3 is to own your strengths and your values and your decisions. One thing I shared before with you about what's my strength and what my values are is that I don't have to hide my personality for someone else to feel comfortable. And the last thing I will share is that to lead with integrity, and Caterina leads with this she just leads this in our community: integrity, empathy, and authenticity. And we've been sharing this throughout. Our different speakers have been amazing. Is being authentic and being empathetic with others. The moments that you are not being yourself, and I think that, I'm going to use a tone Caterina says, I think all of us been around the block a few times. So if we're not embracing authenticity at this point, we got to work on some things, because it's just time to own being authentic, who we are, and let it ride through our businesses so that we can work with the people we love to work with. So thank you, Caterina.
Beautiful. Okay, my friends, I want you to think about these 3 things. Embrace your vision fearlessly. I'm going to say it different. Amp up your resilience and adaptability. And the third one, I'm going to say amplify your personal leadership with your values. I like to have guiding principles. What are your guiding principles? And I want you to think about which one of these do you want to shine the spotlight on, so that you are going to bliss and thrive more in your business. And I love, Shea, that you talked about leadership, because the thing is that sometimes, my friends, you don't see yourself as a leader. All right, my friends, Andrea Wolf and I have known each other for many years. Andrea is the author of the book, Ignite Your Life. And the first day we met, we were having afternoon tea in my neighborhood. And this lady came up and said, "Are you the Andrea Wolf?" And she was her first famous day, and we had so much fun on that day. Andrea is all about helping women ignite their dreams, blissing more. She's the founder of United Women of Impact, a vibrant community of women ready to change the world. Sounds like you're in the right place, my friend. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a best-selling co-author of a couple, at least two, if not more, extraordinary books. And she is also a cancer survivor. And you will hear that today too. And she is here to support us to ignite our dream blissful life. My friend, the floor is yours.
So it is actually my great honor and pleasure to be here today. And I'm going to be sharing with you all about igniting your dream life for more bliss. So it's possible even as you go through what I've been through the last 2.5 years of treatment for very aggressive breast cancer. I'm glad to say I just had the final surgery and I'm all clear. I'm done. Never to come back again. All right, so let me just ask you a few really key questions. Have you ever felt stuck and muddled due to lack of clarity? Yeah, have you ever felt that? Muddled and stuck? Yeah, awesome. Or how about beating yourself up for not having a plan? Just like swimming around like a goldfish, right? Okay, so have you ever felt less than inspired to get into action? Okay, so if any of these sound like you, you've actually come to the right place. So my name is Andrea Wolf, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. I've been a business and personal coach for over 35 years. It sounds crazy, but I've been doing the work that I love in those 35 years. I've had the privilege of working with many incredible women entrepreneurs, just like you, yes, you, to design, create, and live the life of their dreams. Not just what would be nice or what would be okay, but really, really, really what their dream is. So today, I'm thrilled to share with you some tips and actions to take to achieve the same for yourself. I'll also be sharing some insights and challenges I've overcome from my own journey. So let's be clear, your journey is not just about professional achievements. It's also about finding joy and fulfillment in every aspect of your life. So I'm not only a coach, but as Caterina said, I'm a cancer survivor. My recent battle with breast cancer was a defining moment in my life. It taught me resilience, the power of a positive mindset, and the importance of cherishing every single moment. Surviving cancer didn't just give me a second chance at life. It fueled my passion for helping other women find their path to their dream life. This experience has reinforced my belief that no challenge is too great to overcome. It hasn't stopped me from moving forward. Rather, it has propelled me to live my dream life with even more purpose. How great is that? And that's what I want for each of you. So, as we embark on this journey together today, remember that no matter what life throws at you, you have the strength, the resilience, and the power to not just survive, but thrive. So let's ignite the dream life and bliss that awaits you. So ladies, as we navigate the path of entrepreneurship, we often encounter a multitude of unique challenges. That's the understatement of the year, right? These challenges can sometimes steer you away from your dream life. However, today, let's stay focused, let's shine a light on them to identify them and effectively deal with them. One of the most significant hurdles, I assert, that we face is the balancing act. As women, we often juggle numerous roles, and it's crucial to find that delicate balance that leads to true bliss. So how true is that for you? Like having the various roles, like not just being the entrepreneur, but also the maybe leader of a group or, like many roles, right? Parents and so on. We're not just business owners. Many of us are also caregivers. For example, I went through that with both of my parents. I was the one. And maybe partners, or maybe mothers. How many of you are mothers? Yes, and have children. Right. So juggling these roles can lead to a constant battle with worry and fear. It can, if you let it, of course. So, for example, wondering if, will my business succeed? Am I spending enough time with my significant other? Or am I taking good care of my parents? My parents were hysterical. They were like a team, and they would like gang up. I was trying to help them and keep them safe. So then there's the challenge of pleasing everyone. So as women, we are often conditioned to put others' needs before our own, leading us to stretch ourselves too thin. We strive to be the perfect entrepreneur, the perfect mother, the perfect partner all at once. So it can leave us feeling drained and disconnected for our true dreams. So let's now talk about fear. It's so insidious. So, for example, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough, just to name a few, on and on and on. These fears can be paralyzing, keeping us stuck in our comfort zone and far from the life we dream of. So, is this resonating? Is this resonating? Like this? Yeah. So you cannot fix what you don't address. You keep it covered, then nothing changes. So here's what I want you to remember. These challenges, while real and valid, do not define your journey. They're merely obstacles on the path to your dream life. We'll turn these challenges into stepping stones towards your blissful dream life. So now I'm going to take you on a transformative journey, one that bridges the gap between your current reality and your dreams. So we all do have dreams. We all have dreams. So first, let's dive into an easy exercise. Take a deep breath and think about the main challenge that you're currently facing. Is it balancing your business with personal life? Perhaps overcoming self-doubt? Or maybe finding time to make a difference in others' lives? Whatever it is, whatever you choose here, acknowledge it. This acknowledgement is your starting point. So now let's envision a future where this challenge no longer holds you back. Imagine a life where you're not just surviving, but thriving in both your business and personal life. For example, picture yourself having the time and energy to contribute positively to the lives of others. This vision is your destination. That's where you're heading. What it takes to get from here to there is to break down your vision into manageable milestones, right? If it's a big thing, it's going to take a few or more manageable milestones. So then once you've got those figured out, then chunk it down into achievable goals. So achievable goals are clearly identified, and they have a time and a date to them. That's just a super tip. So what is vital is to celebrate each small victory along the way. I can't tell you how many women, and all of the many, many, many women I have coached in my 35 years of doing so, this is something that we often forget to do, is to celebrate the small victories. This may sound very simple, but we don't do it. So I am underlining today, remember to celebrate along the way. It makes all the difference in the world. Remember, what it takes to achieve every big dream is to take a series of small steps consistently. Small steps consistently. Remember, it's not just about reaching the destination, but it's also, and again, this is one of the things I'm very passionate about, it's about actually enjoying the journey. For example, here's some examples of enjoying the journey. Finding joy in your daily activities. Could be taking care of yourself. And it's really important, this one, especially since I've been through my cancer journey, to embrace each moment with gratitude. When you face these challenges head on, you'll be ready to live a life of fulfillment and success. Embrace this clarity and use it as your stepping stone to your dream life.
All right, my friends. Bing, bing, bing. We have two more amazing speakers, and we're going to go now to the phenomenal Elizabeth Stitt. One of the things that keeps me blissing in my life is Elizabeth and I do accountability almost every day. We share our dreams, we share what we're grateful for, we have a little homework we report on, and that definitely keeps me blissing. Elizabeth Stitt is an award-winning parent educator. She has been working with parents to help them own their intuition. She supports them in having effective parenting strategies. She's the author of Parenting as a Second Language. I love that title. She brings over 50,000 hours of working with kids to her work. Now, you say if you don't have kids, don't worry about it, because what she's going to talk about with us today is boost your bliss with better boundaries. This is good for all of us, for all of our business relationships. Elizabeth, we are blissing that you're here. The floor is yours. Bing, bing, bing.
When I was 8 years old, I moved out of the room that I had always shared with my sister. To commemorate this move, my mom said I could pick out any new carpet that I wanted. I loved this room. The wallpaper had blue flowers with yellow centers, and it was so bright and happy. And I knew that yellow would be the perfect color for my rug, like sunshine sprinkled across my bedroom floor. No, my mother said, it shows the dirt. You can have blue or green. Oh. My junior year in high school, my parents added a second story and let me, the remaining child at home, have the old master bedroom. I felt like a fairy princess with my ensuite bathroom. And again, my mother said, you can do whatever you want with your room. And I teased her. You mean like the way that you let me pick out a carpet when I moved to my old new room? I have no idea what you're talking about. When you wouldn't let me get a yellow carpet because it would show the dirt. Well, it would have shown the dirt. I was saving you from that. Really, Mom? I can do anything in my room? Of course. So I found a set of sheets. Oh, they were so pretty. Violets with little yellow centers. I knew better than to ask for a yellow carpet, but I did find a gorgeous periwinkle blue. And I brought my mom the sheets and I brought her the carpet sample. She said, oh, well, I'll have to think about it. Mom, what's there to think about? You said I could do anything with my room. Yeah, but that's going to clash with the rest of my house. Then shut the door. No, I need your bedroom door open so that the light comes in and highlights the other things. Mom, it's fine. I'm about to leave to college. I only have one more year in this house anymore. You better just do what you want to do with the room. Decorating my room was only one in a long line of interactions where I learned to give up my own wants and desires. Let's be clear. There are some good qualities to being a people pleaser. It makes you a great sister, daughter, roommate, spouse, employee, but at a very high cost. To be walked over like you are a doormat. You not only lose your will and your energy and your drive to go do things, you lose your self-respect. Fortunately, I had some key experiences in my life that have taught me how to have boundaries. The first year I taught 9th grade English. At the end of the year, we worked on research papers and kids could write on whatever topics they wanted. Lots of Madonna, Michael Jordan, It's California, so some Steve Young. They turned in their papers. I took them home. I did a marathon weekend of grading. It was Memorial Day weekend. I had 3 days, the extra day. Thank God I needed that. And at the end of it, I had a few blanks in my notebook, in my grade book. So the next day I went to those students and I was like, hey, Juanita, what happened? Where's your paper? Rosa, how about you? John? And I got various excuses and different kinds of promises of when the paper was going to come in. And I turned to Andrew Junkin and he looks at me and he says, I turned my paper in. You lost it. Oh my gosh, Andrew. Oh no. Okay, I'll go home and I'll look for it. So I went home and I looked for the paper. I looked high and I looked low. I looked in my car. I looked in my boyfriend's car. I couldn't imagine what had happened to this paper. And I came back to Andrew and I said, look, I can't find it. Turn in your notes and your rough draft, and I will grade that and give you generous credit. I threw all that stuff away when I turned the paper in. Pre-computer days, right? So now it's time for parent-teacher conference. Doug Duncan walks into my room, this massive giant of a man. And he looks at me and he says, if my son said that he turned in a paper, he turned in a paper. You lost it. You make this right. And he walked out. That was it. That was the parent-teacher conference. Trembling in my boots, I went to my principal and explained the situation. The principal looked at me and was like, Elizabeth, give Andrew 80% and let it go. This is not worth it. I was 22 years old. It was my very first teaching job. I was going to do what my principal told me to do. But I was furious. Academic integrity and lying. I mean, I had been the goody two-shoes student. These were high on my list. These were dearly held values. And I thought to myself, I am never going to let this happen again. And that's when I came up with the Mrs. Stitt Turn It In method. And for every paper for the next 25 years of my teaching career, if a project or paper was due more than 50 points, I had a clipboard with a class list. I'd hand the student the clipboard. They would sign their name. I would take their paper, put it in a big envelope. There were students who didn't turn things in. If at the end of the grading period, I had a blank in my grade book, if their signature was on the list, I gave them 100%, no questions asked. If they wanted to submit another copy of their paper for feedback, I was more than happy to give them feedback. If there was a blank in my grade book and I get there and there's no list, it was a 0. And parents would come in to fight the 0. And I would remind them, remember back to school night, I went over this policy and you guys all signed. And guess what? I had a list with the parents' names too. So I would be able to say, remember you signed my policies? And then I would ask, I'd be like, wasn't there a time in your life when you failed to follow directions or to meet a due date? What happened? And then I would hear the stories of the missed job or the missed grant or the fines, sometimes really big ones that parents had to pay. And so then I would ask, well, what would you prefer? Would you prefer that your child have this pain now in 9th grade when there's still the whole rest of your high school career to tell a different story? Or what if they don't have this pain until college when there are so few grades that getting a 0 on a project like this could not only mean a poor grade, it could mean not getting credit for the class. As you can imagine, most parents agreed that a little pain now saves a lot of pain later. Professional boundaries can be set with our clear policies. Policies that save both us and our client a lot of pain. In my business, I have a very generous refund policy, but I have very strict boundaries around it. if you invest in my 10 session coaching package and at the end of 3 sessions, you're not feeling it, you don't believe that I am the right coach for you, that working with me is going to measurably transform your family into something more harmonious, more loving, more thriving, I give you a full refund as long as you have followed the policy, which is you do those first 3 sessions within the first month of our working together, and you do your homework in between. Well, as you can imagine, the parents who want the refund are not the parents who are following the policy. And so a number of times I've been in a position of saying to them, this is my policy. You've not followed my policy, so I will not be refunding you. I invite you instead to sign up for your next session, and let's see what change and difference we can make in your family. What I came to realize was that in asking for their refund, it was not about their lack of faith in me. It was about their lack of faith in themselves. Their fear that what if I really do this work wholeheartedly and I don't become the parent I want to become? What if I don't transform my relationship with my child? So holding the boundary is a way of supporting my clients in sticking with this hard and vulnerable work that we do together. Yeah, it benefits me and not feeling taken advantage. It benefits them more in giving them some accountability and some constraints. Now, holding boundaries does not mean that I am never flexible or empathetic. So what's my litmus test? The litmus test is, how annoyed am I? If when the people ask me for an exception or a change or something else, they come, they say they don't think they can do the work for me. If I'm super annoyed, I know it's not time for me to be flexible. If I'm feeling empathetic, then I know it's okay. I want you to think of a time when you were annoyed by something, maybe even to the point of really being resentful. And I want you to consider that that annoyance or resentment that you feel is not about them. It's about your boundary being crossed. So use that feeling. Use that feeling of being annoyed or feeling resentful as your red flag. And then ask yourself, what am I going to change so that I'm not put in that position again? So what do you need to say no to?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, my friends, Tracy Root is my good friend, a great, wonderful woman you want to get to know. She is the founder of the Gather community. She said goodbye to corporate life. I like to say she came into the light. She left the dark side. She came into the light. Bing, bing, bing. And she got engaged in the world of coaching after a personal family tragedy. She guides emerging entrepreneurial women who are ready to shift towards their next exciting chapter in business by creating a structured, sustainable, and successful business with vision, with skill, and decisively bold action. And right now, Tracy's going to share with us how to unleash our bold brilliance for more bliss. Bing, bing, bing. Give a big hand to our friend, Tracy Root.
So when I was very little, it's very small, little Tracy went to 5 different elementary schools. And I went to kindergarten and then first grade, and then second grade was split, and third and fourth, all these different schools. And, you know, the benefit of always being the new kid is you learn how to make friends. I finally got to the point where I had a community around me that stuck. I'm still friends with those people to this day. And that's because when we're young like that, we are being ourselves. Those little kids are playing on the playground, being crazy little kids like they are every day of their lives. They have not yet learned how to perform for success. That was what happened to me as I got older. When I went into the corporate world, I remember in that first year or two out of college, working in the corporate world, noticing that the way I had to show up at work in order to be considered professional, successful, on top of stuff, I needed to kind of put on this show. Thankfully, life threw me some curveballs. And, while the curveballs weren't necessarily fun at the time, I did lose my first husband to cancer when I was 41. My kids were little. We had a big transition time period in life and had to move on from that. But thankfully, I had to embrace doing life in a new way so that I could have the life that I envisioned for my kids and for our family. A few years later, I met the amazing Caterina Rando and went on that cruise with Dr. Beth and Erica and all the dance parties that I didn't go to, but I was there. At the end of this cruise, which was all about being visible, standing in front of the room, telling our stories, learning how to do offers, we were asked at the end of our week together, not what was on our checklist of things we were going to do. We all had checklists a mile long of strategies we wanted to implement. How were we going to be different when we left the ship? And I thought to myself, and we were given a sticker and a Sharpie, and I wrote the word bold in all capital letters. I'm not really sure where it came from, but that's the word that came to my mind. I'm going to be bold. And I took that sticker and I stuck it to my chest. And that was the day I decided that being bold was going to be kind of my flag to carry. So I'm going to share with you I love acronyms, BOLD. So make sure you have your pen and paper, write these down. Letter B, and if you've heard of these before, I've been upgrading. So here we go. Letter B stands for believe in yourself. Believe in your potential. O stands for own your unique strengths. Own your unique strengths. Own your brilliance, the things that you're amazing at. Highlight them. L stands for leap into challenges. Who here is a risk taker? Taking risks can be a little scary, but what else is taking risks? Taking risks allows you to grow. And the last one is D. D stands for dare to dream big. When my first husband, Paul, was alive, he was definitely the dreamer and I was the doer. I worked in corporate, I brought home the bacon, all that kind of stuff. And he was so creative and just really had all these dreams for our family that I was all on board to help implement. When he died, I had to learn how to become the dreamer and the doer. And it wasn't an automatic flip, but I knew that it was something that I still needed in my life because in its absence, it was noticeable that I didn't have that in my future anymore. So I learned small. I made some changes, made some more changes, left corporate, left California, got remarried. I mean, so many things. And I never would have moved forward in that way had I not imagined what life could be like later in the future. But when you allow yourself to imagine, to dream what it is that you want to accomplish, it gives you like this rush that allows you to lean into what that dream could actually look like for real. Don't forget to dream big and achieve more. When you believe in yourself, when you can allow yourself to take some risks and own the things you're uniquely good at, the dreams start coming your way. The people that you meet along the way help you get there. And life is full of more bliss. So it's time to unleash your bold brilliance.
Thank you, Tracy. Everybody, it's time to amplify your boldness for more bliss. Take a look at what she shared. Believe in yourself, own your brilliance, leap, dare to dream big. Which one of these are you going to shine the spotlight on? Bing, bing, bing. 4 amazing speakers with great ideas for you, thought-provoking. Don't just listen, take action on what resonated with you. Because you, my friend, have massive value to bring. And there is a lifetime supply of people to serve. I want to encourage you, take these ideas, implement them in your business life so that you can bliss and thrive more. That's what we want. We want your business to be your bliss. Go, build influence so that you can sell more, so that you can serve more, and most importantly, so that you can uplift more lives with the amazing woman you are. I'm Caterina Rando. Listen to more episodes. We have over 145, I believe, at this point. Connect with me. Join me for one of my upcoming free workshops. Look at the show notes for all these great gals. Connect with them because we're all here to support you to expand your fempire. Bing, bing, bing.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando.